behind the scenes who might be answering them via the chat as well. So after you ask your question, don't just click out of it. Keep an eye on it because you might get a response via chat instead. So again, we thank you so much for joining us. And I want to turn it over to our fantastic panelists this evening. And if you could please go ahead and introduce yourselves. Richard, let's go ahead and kick it off with you.
Okay, I'm Richard Swearingen. I'm the Director of University Housing Administration.
Josh?
Hi, I'm Josh Martin. I'm a one-stop counselor.
Mary Leslie?
Hi, I'm Mary Leslie Patterson. I'm the Marketing Director with Vol Dining.
Moira?
Good evening. I'm Moira Bender, and I'm the Communications Manager with the Parking and Transit Office.
Outstanding. So as you can tell by the areas that they're representing, we have a vast kind of breadth of knowledge joining us this evening. And again, they're anxious to share all of their insight and expertise with you. So please ask questions in the Q&A. But first, I want to go ahead and kick us off. Richard, I'll start with you. What are just some of the kind of general pieces of advice or just things that our family members of our incoming students might need to just be thinking about at this point in time?
Well, at this point in time, if you have a student who is incoming for the spring term and they need housing, you would want to make sure that they have completed the housing application for the spring 22 term. That's available in their university housing portal. We will begin making assignments, begin the process of assigning students to spring housing on Monday. And from there, notifications will start rolling out. It'll be about a week before we send an email out to students, but students can see their assignment status in the university housing portal as we make them in real time.
Thanks, Richard. And just to be clear, because this will probably be the first of many times that I mention this tonight, when you say send it to their email, is that students' Volmail account or is that their personal account? Which email do you recommend that they check to view that information?
We communicate student information specifically to their Volmail account.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Again, you might hear me say that many times. It's a great habit for students to start getting into right away, checking their Volmail or their UTK email account. Make sure that they set that up. It's very easy to do. And then once they do set it up, we highly recommend them checking it on at least a bi-daily basis. I might even go as far as saying a daily basis, at least with this point in time, especially if you know you're waiting on housing information or parking information. Mary Leslie, I kind of want to turn it to you as well in university dining. What are some things that you want to go ahead and just share right out of the gate with our new family members or students?
I'd like to encourage all our new family members and students to go to the UT Dining website, the Vol Dining website, and look at everything that we have to offer. We have a new dining hall that just opened in August. We have a dietitian on campus now. So if you have any dietary needs, it'd be a good time to go on and contact her. Her name is Taylor Koenigs, and all of her information's on our website. But you can go in and set up an appointment and start talking to Taylor now about your dietary needs and where to dine on campus. Another thing too is to start planning. Once you're on campus, you have to eat. So get familiar with the different dining locations on campus and look at the different meal plans we have to offer and see what works with your schedule, with your needs. And if you have any questions at all, please reach out to us. We're here to help.
Great recommendation to push them to the website. I know there's a ton of great information on there for everybody's departments that are with us this evening. So would highly recommend maybe even pulling it up as we're on the webinar this evening and kind of perusing through all the different pieces of information there. There's a lot of good tips and things that hopefully will be helpful as you begin to transition to the UT family. Josh, joining us from One Stop this evening. I know there's a lot that goes into One Stop, whether it's paying the bill or financial aid, but are there any things, hot topics again, that you just want to go ahead and throw out there for our new family members or students, things that they should be considering at this point in time?
Yeah, there's quite a bit of projects that we're working on now as far as communication and things that we're going to be working on in the next couple of months. In particular, so the One Stop partners with the admissions office. And so I'd like to answer a lot of questions that you might have about your applications or deadlines and whenever we're going to release decisions and things like that. So I welcome those questions. I've got some ideas about those things that are coming up. But also we work with the Office of Financial Aid and Scholarships. And so I've got some information there too, if you have those questions. So anything about, getting in, funding your education, I'd be happy to help.
Josh, thanks for that. And I know tonight we'll try and keep things more general, but One Stop has a fantastic team that if you have more specific questions and you want a tailored conversation to you or your students' needs, please reach out to them. And I know that team would be more than happy to set up an appointment or just chat with you via email. And then last but certainly not least, Moira, with parking, transfer students, we have a lot of transfer students joining us this spring, and of course some first years as well. So parking, of course, is a very, very big topic. What are just some general things that you want them to be aware of, and topics that they should be considering at this point in time in regards to parking?
Thanks, Adam. Well, as our transfer students know, it's like going to a small city when you come to a college campus. So you want to have your permit as soon as you are stepping onto the campus. Permits are required 24/7, 365. So just make sure that you have your parking permit. You can go online starting on Monday. And the reason for that is that the parking permits, the full year permits change to spring only starting on Monday. So they become half price from the original full year price. And so that's when you can go online. You do need to have registered for your classes for the spring. So if you're registering for them on Monday, then on Tuesday is when you could actually go online. I also created a PowerPoint presentation for our families that are on tonight about information about parking, information about the buses. It's on our website, and Lindsay's also going to put it in the chat tonight at some point in time that you have access to that. Oh, there she is. Thanks, Lindsay. So for the parents and students that are on this, you can just go right onto that, and it's got a number of slides just to help you with some of the basic information. And like Mary Leslie said, just reach out if you've got any questions. Please ask before you assume something, because I would rather you ask beforehand rather than get the parking ticket. Yes, we're really excited to have you on campus. So we're looking forward to tonight and the questions you have.
I'll say one more time, a lot of great information on their website too. So I know when there's different figures being thrown out for price of permits and things like that, you might want to see it in writing. So please make sure to check out that website. Lindsay Davis just posted it in the chat. Fantastic. So please continue to kind of post your questions in the Q&A here. While we wait for more questions to kind of populate from those joining us this evening. Richard, I kind of want to go back to you if that's okay. Can you just shed a little bit of light on move-in for our spring entry students? I know it's a little bit different from fall. So if you could just kind of talk about, when students would be able to move in and kind of what that looks like.
Move in will begin on January 21st at 8 a.m. That's when all of the residence halls will open for the spring term. It is much different from fall move in. You won't need to schedule an appointment to arrive, but you just show up to the residence hall where you're moving in. The front desk will be expecting you. They'll have you on a roster. You'll go to the front desk. They'll check you in, and you can start taking your belongings to your room.
Outstanding. Thank you so much. And Richard, will students, once the housing information is released, will they eventually receive some communications regarding the move-in process and just kind of those types of details that you just mentioned?
Yes, when we send out the assignment emails, it will include information about how to move in, where to find your residence hall, what to expect when you get here.
Excellent. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Mary Leslie, going back to you, I want to talk a little bit about meal plans, right? And whether we have students living on campus or we have students who might be living off campus but might be interested in a meal plan still, since we have so many fantastic options all over campus. Can you kind of go into detail a little bit regarding what you might recommend students from kind of both worlds, what they might look into to kind of best fit their needs?
Yeah, Adam, I'd love to. Students, if you're an incoming freshman living on campus, then you will be mandatory for either the 7-day unlimited plan or the 5-day unlimited plan. The difference between those two plans is one is 7 days a week, of course, and then one is only Monday through Friday. Those plans are unlimited. It gives you unlimited access into the dining halls every day that they're open. If you are living off campus or an upperclassman, and you might not be dining as if you were a freshman, then there are other meal plans that are available to you. And those meal plans, what I would encourage you to do is to look at your schedule once again. Think about how many meals you will be eating on campus. I mean, we have some block plans. Those are great for commuting students because it's like 50 meals per semester, or 75 or 100. A lot of our commuters like that, a lot of upperclassmen like those too. And we have straight dining dollar plans. And I'll tell you a little bit about dining dollars. Dining dollars and everything I'm talking about will go on your one ID card, your ball card well, I guess you don't have a card anymore. So it's all on your one account, excuse me. And so anyway, the dining dollars spend just like cash. So it's just $1 for $1. And we have two, one's a little bit bigger than the other dining dollar plan. But once again, if you are going to the national brands or, buying things in our pod markets across campus, then dining dollars come in very handy. It keeps you from having to carry cash, and everything's just right there on your one UT account.
Awesome. Again, I know that's a lot of information, but I appreciate you kind of keeping it somewhat broad there, because I know all those details are on your website, and I saw you just posted it in the chat too. So once again, check that out, and please reach out to Mary Leslie's team if you have questions. They'd be more than happy to chat with you. Josh, I want to go to you here with One Stop. Where do you recommend students go to kind of dive into their information? If family members want to kind of get involved with that, what's your recommendation at this point in time, as maybe they're just trying to get their foot in the door with paying the bill or viewing financial aid scholarships, things of that nature?
Yeah, absolutely. So students, of course, can access all this information through My UTK. One feature that we have in My UTK is you can actually make people an authorized user on your account. So let's say a parent, they want access to your bill to be able to either view or make payments, or, just get information about payment, and you can make them an authorized user. So in My UTK, you can find that in the academic support tab. All you need is their name and their email address, and you can set them up, and they'll actually get their own login. They'll get their own password and everything, so they can manage that. But yeah, they'll get periodic emails, reminders about upcoming deadlines. And, if you have any statement or anything, a balance that you have to pay, then they'll have access to help you out with that. We know a lot of parents are really interested in the financial piece. So that's there for you and for anyone that you want to be an authorized user on your account.
Thanks, Josh. Appreciate it. Moira, if you wouldn't mind, I'm sure we have folks here who have students or are students that are both living on campus this spring and also living off campus, maybe in the surrounding Knoxville area as well. Can you talk a little bit about some of the transportation options that we provide for students in order to just kind of get around and get to classes or different activities that they might have?
Absolutely. We have what's called the T-bus system. And the T-bus has 4 fixed routes. 3 of them are during the day, 1 is at night. The Hill does a loop throughout campus and over onto the Hill where a lot of the science and engineering buildings are. The Fort goes back through around Laurel Hall and again through the major section of campus. And then the Neyland Express serves the Ag Campus and Sorority Village. And I forgot the 4th one, which is the Ag Express in the daytime, runs from the Ag Express from the Ag Campus to the central part of campus. It's kind of a shortcut little bus route to get you from the Ag Campus, because if you are on the Ag Campus and you have to get to the Hill, it is about a 20-minute walk. And so this helps people get across that a little bit quicker. The late night bus is the one that runs the huge loop throughout campus at nighttime. You do not have to memorize the schedule. They run from anywhere from 8 to 12 or 14 minutes, kind of depending on the time of day. And you just get on the bus. You don't have to show an ID. It is very easy to ride the bus. And then we also have the T-Link, which runs late at night for those with accessible needs. And once the late night bus stops, the T-Link is there. So if someone has to come back late at night and park a little further away from their dorm, you would call the T-Link to come and get you. And I actually have a special page about safety at night on our webpage that talks about this bus. During the daytime, the bus would be the access bus for those with accessible needs. If you break an ankle and you need to have crutches for a little while, this is how you would be able to get around campus. So that's what we do on campus. Now, in addition to that, we have a wonderful partnership with the Knoxville Transportation Association, Knoxville Transit, and they have a bus called the CAT Trolley, Knoxville Area Transit CAT. It is free to get downtown. It looks like a trolley. It also comes onto campus and goes down by Publix, the grocery store. So if your student needs to run down there and grab a few things and comes back with 6 bags, like I do when I go to the grocery store, this is a great way to get around campus and a very close by grocery store. So those are the 2 major transportation options that students have available to them at no cost.
Wonderful. That's really good information. Love your example of a student who might need to get those accommodations. But thanks, Maura. Appreciate it. And again, check out her website. And I know she mentioned the special page for safety at night. Definitely something we recommend both family members and students take a look at before their student begins classes here on campus. Josh, we have a question from one of our participants this evening. I was hoping you could kind of talk about a little bit here. The question is, when is each student assigned a one-stop counselor? Should we wait to reach out until the student is assigned their counselor? I'll stop there, and then I'll follow up with the last piece.
Sure. You are assigned a one-stop counselor once you have confirmed your admission to the University of Tennessee. So pretty early on, you get your assignment. So that's part of the Vol Success team. So you get assigned to an academic advisor, a success coach, and then finally a one-stop counselor. And we're absolutely eager to help you with any sort of questions that you have concerning any of the more administrative things like financing, or we can even help with some class registration. We do a lot of troubleshooting. So reach out to us if you're having trouble finding direction on how to get something done.
Hence the name One Stop, right, Josh?
Oh yeah.
Hey, Josh, one more question that was kind of part of it. Are transfer students eligible for any financial aid, scholarships, student employment, things like that?
Yes. First thing I'll say about that is I'll put a link into the chat. We have a handy website that has a lot of information on it. It gets a little bit overwhelming at times because it's got so much information, but I'll give you the specific place. But yes, but it's mostly reserved for students who have transferred to UT from a 2-year college with an associate's degree. There is the volunteer scholarship. We also have the pledge scholarship. There's a transfer version of the pledge scholarship and some others, but I can put that in the link and you can look at all the, I'll put that in the chat and you can look at all the requirements and the amounts and all that information there.
Wonderful, thanks. Richard, it looks like we have a housing question here. Somebody it might have maybe missed it when you initially talked about it. If you could just maybe rehash it one more time. When are resident hall assignments given out, and are they assigned in preference by the order housing applications were received? It sounds like they're just kind of wanting to know what hall they're going to potentially get in, and if they have a chance to get in the one that they wanted the most.
Sure, we'll begin the process of assigning students for spring next week. On Monday, we'll start that process. It is a very manual process. It's different than fall assignments because our vacancies come from whatever students have graduated or are studying abroad or doing internships. So there's no predicting where those spaces will occur. On Saturday, all students will have been moved out of the residence halls. We'll know where all of our spring vacancies are. And then we will begin looking at those individual applications and doing our best to meet the preferences that were indicated there. So when you filled out that housing application, you were able to rank preference 3 buildings We will do our best to meet those preferences, but it really boils down to where vacancies randomly occurred as students opted out for spring to go pursue other experiences off campus.
Excellent. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. All right. Please continue to keep sending in those questions. Those are two really, really great ones. We appreciate you asking them. I want to go back to Mary Leslie, if you wouldn't mind. I know your team utilizes a lot of students, undergraduate students, right, to work, and we provide them student employment, and they help run facilities, right, and do some great things on campus. How do students get involved in that way if they are interested in a campus job, specifically with dining?
Oh, thanks, Adam. And definitely, we probably have around 750 to 800 employees on campus, and 350 to 400 of those employees are students. So I definitely, we love hiring our students. One very unique thing about working on campus and working with Vol Dining is that we work around your schedule. So the students will tell us, they give us their availability, and we have so many students that we plug in and out that it just works. So a student might want to work from, let's say they have a class at 8, they might want to work from 10 till noon. So we can schedule them from 10 till noon, and maybe they don't want to work the rest of the day, or maybe they want to come back and work another shift. We can make that happen. Once again, I'm going to refer you back to our website. Go to ut.campusdish.com, click on careers, and that will definitely take you to a portal where you can apply for a job. If you have prior experience working in a dining location, it might be Chick-fil-A or Subway or Starbucks, please apply. And if you don't have any experience at all, please come to work for us. Our starting minimum wage right now is $13 an hour. So we encourage students. We would love to have you work for us. And another benefit of working for Vol Dining is that we always say, eat for me, eat for me. When I work for me, eat for free. I had it backwards, but you do get a free meal with every shift that you work.
You should have led with that one, Mary Leslie.
I should have. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. And Moira, I appreciate your comment in the chat. You're 100% right. Do not fear. If you want a job on campus, you can find one. So many of our departments, I would say a majority of the departments on campus probably employ students in some way, shape, or form. The portal specifically is called Handshake Student. It's a free system for you to use as a UT student, where you log in and you'll be able to view all of the different opportunities that are available at any point in time. Fill out a quick application, maybe upload some past experience, and then from there, a potential employer will reach out and take it away. So thank you, Mary Leslie, for that insight and more for that kind of additional follow-up. Mary Leslie, I'm sorry, I want to go back to you one more. I've been dying to ask this question. I saw it come through a little while ago because it's one of my favorite things on campus. What are pods on campus, and what are the benefits of it, especially for students who maybe don't even live on campus and are only on campus at various hours of the day?
Pod markets are similar to convenience stores, and they are scattered across campus. So they're almost in every corner of campus, and similar to a convenience store because we have meal options. You can go in and get a sandwich, a salad. You can get a hot meal. Then we have your basics like your sodas, your waters, your energy drinks, chips, energy bars. We have vegan options, vegetarian options in the pod markets, coffee, hot chocolate, a little bit of everything. And like I said, they're all across campus. You can use your dining dollars in the pod markets. And we also, if you have a meal plan, and let's say you're on the run and you're not going to go in the dining hall, you can use your meal swipe in the pod markets too and get a meal. I believe we're up to 12 pod markets across campus. And they're convenience stores more than anything else. When you look at the ones that we have in the apartment residence halls on campus, they carry a little bit heavier option of a heavier selection of items, because typically those locations have kitchens. And so we have items that you can take back to your kitchen and actually prepare a meal.
Very cool. Thank you. Thank you. when I'm around campus, I always try and make it a habit to sneak into one of those things. And
Thank you, Adam.
Yeah, of course. Let's see here. Josh, if you wouldn't mind, I want to kind of go back to you here. Do you mind talking a little bit more about scholarships? Specifically, the question we have here is, how long does it take for scholarship funds typically to be posted to student accounts, after the start of the semester, or does it happen before the start of the semester?
Yeah, so it's actually for the spring semester happening now. So we try to get it done before the semester starts. Scholarships can come from a lot of places. Most of them come from the University of Tennessee. Our institutional scholarships, they come from the state, but they can also come from your hometown or some organization. So we consider them to be like external scholarships. So we get this done before the semester starts, and you should see things applied to your MyUTK well before the semester begins. One note on those external scholarships, if you do have one, please send it to us as soon as possible. Do not cash it out yourself and then use it to help pay your tuition or something, because there are tax things involved with that. So just send it to the One Stop and we'll get that applied to your account as a regular scholarship. So for the upcoming spring semester, things should already be applied to your account. If you see something missing, get a hold of the One Stop, either your counselor or any of the wonderful folks on the phones there or in person. Come talk to us and we'll help troubleshoot that. For the upcoming fall semester for next year, if you're interested in that, we're trying to get information out to our new students, new offers as soon as we can. So keep an eye on your GoVols account and your email for that.
Great. Thanks a lot, Josh. Yeah, again, another reminder, please be checking your Volmail account as frequently as you possibly can. You do not want to miss any really important information like Josh was talking about that might require somewhat of a quick response or something for you to take care of. Moira, you might have talked about this earlier, and I think we had some new folks join us. Excuse me. So I wanted to have you kind of go over it one more time, but just this idea of when do I purchase a parking permit? How do I purchase a parking permit? Should I be doing that right now? Do I need to wait till I am on campus or registered for classes? What do you have to say about all those things?
It's a great question. Thank you, Adam. Parking permits will be purchased online, and you can purchase them one day after you register for classes. The earliest would actually be Monday, December the 13th. At the end of the transaction, what you're going to get is you can ask for a temporary permit to print out, to put on your dashboard for when before the hang tag arrives. The hang tag is mailed from our distribution center in Arkansas. And so it usually takes about 7 to 10 days to get to the student. So if you buy it, if you buy it right before you come to campus, have it sent to your address on campus or your apartment that you're going to be moving into. So just kind of make sure where you have that sent. If you order it now, it'll arrive before you arrive for spring term, unless you are coming for the mini term. But again, it'll be a plastic hang tag that you will hang on your rear view mirror. If anybody needs accessible parking, that is a little bit of a different process because we need the documentation for your accessible permit. I would be happy to walk through any parents with any questions that you may have about purchasing the parking permit. And if you forget it, or if you lose it, we have a satellite office at Circle Park. It's the information booth that's right near the torchbearer. You can always go there. They're open from 7:30 in the morning till 4:30 in the afternoon and get a temporary permit. Or if your hang tag hasn't arrived yet, that's where you can get the temporary one. So we've got you kind of covered from all angles. But the biggest note is make sure you have a permit in your vehicle at all times when you're parked on campus.
Good piece of advice. And it sounds like Monday's a big day for folks maybe that want to kind of just get things taken care of as quickly as possible, that those permits will be available for order just next week. So I appreciate you sharing that date. That's great.
One other thing, Adam, is
Yeah.
that when you're going through the process, it will automatically default to credit card for a payment. But if you go to the drop down, you can actually put it on your account. Now, if students are getting financial aid, this may actually be able to come out of the financial aid. It depends upon any criteria for that. And so especially with now right before Christmas, if you don't want to shell out $147 for the residential parking permit, just put it on your account for right now. So that just make sure that you do the drop down and put it on my account.
Love that. Appreciate that little extra tidbit there at the end. That's a really great piece of advice. Thank you, Maura. Thank you. Yes, get your parking permits. Do not wait. Make sure you have those. You don't want any extra souvenirs from the University of Tennessee your first couple of weeks on campus. So, Richard, I got a question for you here from the chat. If you wouldn't mind kind of responding to the question is, do you anticipate being able to place all the students who currently apply for housing for the spring in halls, or is there a possibility that folks might need to be looking for other off-campus options at this time?
No, we actually just balanced that report this morning. I'm looking at incoming applications versus our current pending cancellations, and we will have plenty of beds for all of the applications.
Excellent.
For all the
Great news.
have on hand right now. Now, if we flood in tonight, then no, we rarely, spring, we typically have more than enough vacancies for the incoming students.
Excellent. Thanks, Richard. Appreciate it. We are kind of getting towards the kind of the back half of our session this evening. And so thanks everybody for hanging out with us here over the last 30 minutes or so. If you have any more questions for any of our panelists, please don't be shy. Hopefully you've been kind of looking over the websites as we've been chatting here and learning some new things. And if you have any new questions that are sparked from doing that reading, please don't hesitate to ask. Mary Leslie, I want to go back to you. I know we have, you've talked a lot about some fantastic dining options and meal plans and things like that. You might have mentioned it earlier, so forgive me, but can you talk a little bit more about if students have food allergies, if they have food sensitivities, and how your team and dining accommodates those, or if there's any special process that those students need to go through to make sure that they can have food that they need?
Most definitely. If you are a student, or if you have a student with a dietary need, let me start. If they need an accommodation, then they will definitely need to go to Student Disability Services and apply. And those accommodations can be anything from, maybe they need something extra in their residence hall room, or maybe they need an accommodation to get out of a meal plan even. So that would go through Student Disability Services. If you or your student has a dietary need, let's say it's a nut allergy or a gluten allergy, we do have a dietitian on staff. She is a UT grad. Her name is Taylor Koenigs. I put her email address in the chat. Definitely email her. Everything is very confidential. We also work with student health, and we get referrals from student health with students. And it might not even be a dietary need. It could be other needs too. Maybe it's diabetes or, whatever it might be. We can assist, we do assist students with dining on campus. We have even gone to the extent where if a student is going through, maybe it's an elimination diet, then we'll work one-on-one with the dietitian, with our chefs on campus, and with the student to provide meals for these students. The best thing I can tell you is communicate. You've got to communicate with us. We are here to help. We are here to provide nutrition to the students on campus. And we do have a new option with dining on campus, and it's in the new Rocky Top Dining Hall, and it's called True Balance. And True Balance answers or has eliminated 8 of the top food allergens. And so True Balance is really unique because all of the product, when we receive it off the trucks, it's stored at True Balance. So what we're doing is eliminating a lot of the cross-contamination. All of the food is prepared at True Balance. All of the warewashing is done at True Balance. So it's very self-contained. If a student comes over with a plate, let's say they've been to another station and they say, "Ooh, I want something off the True Balance line," which is open to everyone. We we have to put it on a True Balance plate, and then they can, take it with them. So once again, we try to eliminate all possible cross-contamination. Another thing too is that when you go to any of our stations, you'll be able to see what we're offering. You can see this online, and you can see the recipe for the item that we're serving, the nutritional content, and that's also at every station. There's a tablet at every station that goes into that detail too. So we're here to answer questions. We always encourage students, if you ever have a question about anything that we're serving, please find a manager. The employees who work at the True Balance station have to go through very extensive training to work in that station, and all the managers are trained too. So once again, we're here to help. Communication is key.
Awesome. That True Balance, that sounds great. That's a really, really exciting
actually.
program.
Yeah.
Say that again?
It's delicious.
Oh,
yeah.
I bet. Awesome. Thanks, Mary Leslie.
Thank
Moira,
you.
I know we have some students that will be living in the resident halls and moving in this spring. And with that always comes questions, especially from families who might be coming with their student to move in. Where should they park those days if they might get a little congested around the halls? What do you recommend?
Thanks for that, Adam. The on that move-in weekend, on the 21st and 22nd, 23rd, in that time frame, we will we know that parents are going to be there, and so we ask you to park in the student areas, specifically non-commuter if possible, but just not in the staff areas are marked with an S. But you can park in the student areas, and the enforcement team knows that you are there. Our job is not to give you tickets while you're moving your student in. We do ask, though, if you are dropping stuff off and if there's a line near that residence hall, to drop all the stuff, go park the car, and then come back, rather than leaving the car unattended. Sometimes, especially in the fall, we can get really, really long lines. So my philosophy is stop, drop, and roll. So get the stuff out, get the car parked, and then come back and help them. Because sometimes parents like to stay a little bit longer to help decorate the rooms, not just unpack the stuff. So did I forget anything on that, Richard?
Nope. You crushed it.
As usual, thanks, Moira. We appreciate it. We have just a couple minutes left here of our session. So I want to give our panelists kind of just one final opportunity to share maybe one of their favorites, just kind of piece of advice for new families or even new students if we have those joining us this evening. It doesn't have to necessarily pertain to your specific department. If you just kind of want to go off the cuff, I know a lot of you have worked at UT for a while and have some fantastic knowledge and advice that I'm sure you'd be willing to share. So Josh, I'm going to start with you. Just kind of wrapping things up here when it comes to One Stop, or again, just in general, what's kind of one thing that you hope folks kind of leave here tonight remembering or considering?
Yeah, just from the One Stop, we're going to send lots of information here soon. If you're returning for the spring semester, keep an eye on your email, keep an eye on your MyUTK, set up someone as an authorized user so they can also help keep an eye out. If you're a student that's trying to, attending next year and, applying now and getting all that in order, keep an eye on your email and also on your GoVols account, because we're going to start sending out quite a bit of information. So if anything's confusing, or if we can help with something, one-stop counselors are great, and we'll help you with whatever you need. And if it's something that we can't help you with, or we're just not the experts in, we'll at least get you in the right direction.
Appreciate it. Richard, any final thoughts?
Same. Watch your vol mail. If you have applied for housing and are coming in for the spring, watch that vol mail for us to email you your housing assignment. Once you have it, you can get into the portal and see where you're assigned, and you should be able to see your roommates as well in there. And so my recommendation would be to go ahead and reach out to them and start communicating early.
I appreciate you mentioning the roommates. That's a great piece of advice there. Thank you, Richard. Let's see, Mary Leslie, we'll go to you. Any final thoughts, dining, or just Mary Leslie pieces of advice? What you got?
Thanks, Adam. dine with us on campus. Choose a meal plan. If you do choose a meal plan, and let's say you choose a meal plan that's too small and you need a larger one, or one that's too large and you need a smaller one, you have 28 days after the first day of class to change your meal plan. I am the proud parent of 2 UT graduates, and I have a daughter. When she was on campus, she loved Starbucks and Chick-fil-A. So she spent a lot of dining dollars. I have a son who loved the dining hall. So he needed the meals in the dining hall. And with that, we have a meal plan that'll fit your needs. And once again, if you have any dietary needs, please let us know, communicate with us. We really look forward to seeing you guys in the spring.
Leslie, Moira, final thoughts.
I've got 2 of them. One of them is that we have enough places to park on campus, even though people will tell you that we don't. What we don't have is enough convenient parking places. So sometimes you may be parking a little bit further away. We have a way of getting you back to where you need to go. So just ask us. Number 2, if you do get that dreaded parking ticket, we have a program called Donations for Citations, where you can donate 5 canned goods and that first parking ticket can be waived. We've got plenty of room in our program for you, and you can only use it once. But if you get that one ticket that you're not sure where you're supposed to be parking and you're parking in an unauthorized area, we have a way for you to take care of that without having to pay the fine. So we really just want to make sure that you're safe and secure. You've got to, if you pay for a place to park, you've got a place to park, or you've got a way to get back to where you need to go. So we're looking forward to the spring. Have a blessed holiday, everybody. Thank you for being on tonight, and we appreciate you being here.
Thanks, everybody. I appreciate it. And one kind of shameless plug, make sure students or family members that you're registering for orientation as well. Orientation is available on the Students Go Vols portal. It takes just a minute or 2 to submit that. If you have questions along the way, don't hesitate to reach out to orientation@utk.edu. Once you register for orientation, you'll receive an email with next steps on how to complete some additional requirements, as well as how to, or when I should say, you can expect to hear from your academic advisor in order to schedule an advising appointment. So I know a couple of topics are on the top of a lot of folks' heads. So again, always can reach out to us for orientation specific questions as well. Folks, like Moira said, thank you so much for joining us. I hope that you consider joining us for our next session, which will be in 2022 on January 13th. We'll have some campus partners joining us from academic success, student engagement, leadership service, and career exploration. And of course, we'll be kind of just putting on the finishing touches, if you will, as students will be joining us on campus shortly after. So thank you all once again. If you have questions, please reach out to folks here at